My mother once called me her miracle child, the one she almost lost during birth. Funny thing is, she spent the next 30 years making sure I wished she had. Last Christmas, she raised her glass, smiled that fake smile of hers, and said, "I'm grateful for all my kids, except the disappointment in the corner." That was the night I gave her the only gift she'd never be able to return. If you've ever been underestimated, if someone you love ever made you feel small, then this story is for you. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and stay with me. Because tonight justice isn't cold. It's wrapped in red velvet and revenge. The house smelled like cinnamon and lies. Every year my mother made Christmas her stage. Gold-rimmed plates, perfectly folded napkins, lights dancing like her painted smile. From the outside, we looked like a Hallmark family. But anyone who lived inside those walls knew better. My siblings always had their roles. Mark, the golden boy, the one who made something of himself. Ella, the charming one who could do no wrong even when she stole money from Mom's purse. And me, I was the background noise, the project, the one she could correct, ridicule, and remake endlessly. I stayed. When Dad cheated and vanished, I stayed. When Ella ran off with someone twice her age, I stayed. When Mark called only for money, I stayed. I told myself it was loyalty. In truth, it was fear. Fear of being the child who finally said, enough. Mom loved retelling how she fought for me during childbirth, but somewhere along the way, she stopped fighting for me and started fighting against me. It started with her accountant, Mr. Brewer. I was helping him fix her laptop. She'd forgotten her password again. The screen blinked open, and suddenly my name was everywhere. Loan approvals, credit card statements, mortgage notices. At first, I thought it was an error. Then I saw the signature, my signature. She'd taken out a $50,000 loan in my name. I remember staring at the screen, heart pounding so hard I could hear it echoing in my ears. When I confronted her, she laughed. "It's just paperwork," she said, swirling her wine. "You should be grateful I trust you enough to borrow in your name." That night, something inside me went silent. No yelling, no crying, just silence. Because I finally understood. She didn't just hurt people. She erased them. And I was next on her list. For weeks, I smiled more than ever. I cooked her favorite meals, asked about her book club, listened to her gossip. She thought she'd won, that I'd accepted her version of family. But behind that smile, I was building something she'd never see coming. Every night after she went to bed, I gathered evidence. Emails, loan records, bank transfers. Mr. Brewer cracked the moment I showed him what I knew. Turns out she'd done this before, once using Dad's identity, even Mark's. She thought she was untouchable. Because, as she loved to remind us, family never sues family. I decided to change that rule. Quietly, I filed reports: fraud, identity theft, tax evasion. I called in favors from friends in finance, had her accounts flagged, her credit frozen. By December, she was drowning, and she didn't even know it yet. But paperwork wasn't enough. This woman lived for her reputation, for the illusion of control. If I wanted to truly end it, it had to happen where she'd least expect it. At her favorite holiday, her spotlight, Christmas. Christmas night came like a scene from a play. Guests filled the house, laughter bouncing off marble floors. Mom wore her signature red dress, sparkling earrings, and that weaponized smile. When I arrived, she hugged me, tight enough to bruise. "Try not to ruin this year," she whispered. I smiled back. "Wouldn't dream of it." Dinner began. She bragged about Mark's promotion, Ella's new job. When she mentioned me, she called me her ongoing project. The table erupted in laughter. Even my father smirked behind his glass. I didn't flinch. Instead, I let her have her moment, because her next one would be her last. When she raised her glass for the final toast, her voice was honeyed poison. "I'm grateful for all my kids," she said. Then her eyes flicked to me, except the disappointment in the corner. They laughed, and in that moment, the years of humiliation, the sleepless nights, the debt, all of it, went still inside me. I stood up, calm, silent, walked to the cake, 3 layers of red velvet perfection, and placed a small white envelope right in the center. "Merry Christmas, Mom," I said softly. Then I walked out. I was in my car when the first scream echoed through the window. Inside that envelope was a copy of the court summons: fraud, identity theft, tax evasion, neatly printed, legally signed, and behind the papers, a photo. Mr. Brewer's signed confession, dated, admitting she forged every signature herself. They said she started reading aloud, "This is ridiculous," until she saw the signature. Then her hand clutched her chest. She collapsed, face first into her perfect red velvet cake. Silence. Then chaos. The same chaos she once thrived on, now turning on her. I didn't go back. I sat there, watching as the ambulance lights painted the house in red and blue, the same colors she'd used to decorate every Christmas. They said it was a stress-induced collapse. She recovered physically. But her reputation? That didn't. The fraud reports went public. Her social circle, the same people she used to brag to, whispered her name like poison. The woman who once demanded respect now hid behind curtains, afraid of the neighbors. I didn't visit her. People asked why I didn't cry, why I didn't call. Because tears are for loss. And I didn't lose anything that night. I gained my freedom. I moved to a small apartment by the sea. No more guilt, no more walking on eggshells around someone who fed on my silence. Every Christmas since, I light one candle. Not for her, but for the version of me she tried to destroy. The one who finally stood up. The one who finally walked away. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting them. It's about healing yourself loud enough that they hear it from their own silence. If you've ever walked away from someone who tried to break you, this story is yours too. Comment freedom below if you've ever chosen peace over pain. And don't forget to subscribe to RevengeReelz because sometimes the quietest revenge is the one they never see coming.